Guys, I hope you're having a great morning. I wanted to hop on and ask you this question this morning. What are you doing with the gift that God has entrusted to you? A lot of you guys know this parable, but I wanted to break it down a little bit and just hop through sections of it today. This is a parable out of Matthew 25, and it's talking about basically a master who went away and he gave a certain number of talents or dollar amounts to his servants. And he said, I want you to steward over this stuff until the appointed time when I will come back. And then I'm going to look and see what you've done with it. How have you stewarded the gift that I have given you? Are you going to use these resources for my good in the end, kind of a thing? And so this is where I want us to pick up. This is Matthew 25:14. It says, again, heaven's kingdom realm is like the wealthy man who went on a long journey and summoned all his trusted servants and assigned his financial management over to them. Before he left on his journey, he entrusted a bag of 5,000 gold coins to one of his servants, to another a bag of 2,000 gold coins, and to the third a bag of 1,000 gold coins, each according to his ability to manage. This is why we've got to be so careful, you guys, not to get jealous of the person's gift that's sitting next to us, you guys, because God knows what we can manage, and he's not comparing you to the person beside you. He's comparing you to yourself. He's saying, I've given you 3,000 talents. The person next to you might have 5,000 talents, but you're responsible for multiplying your 3. Amen. And so we can't get into the comparison game there, right? Let's keep going. This is verse 16. The one entrusted with 5,000 gold coins immediately went out and traded with the money and doubled his investment. In the same way, the one who was entrusted with 2,000 gold coins traded the sum and likewise doubled his investment. But the one who had been entrusted with 1,000 gold coins dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. You know, I don't know about you guys, but when I was a baby Christian and I first read this, I said, well, what's wrong with that? He's still keeping his money safe. Let's keep reading and find out. After much time had passed, the master returned to settle accounts with his servants. The one who was entrusted with 5,000 gold coins came and brought 10,000, saying, see, I have doubled your money. Commending his servant, the master replied, you have done well and proven yourself to be my loyal and trustworthy servant. Because you have been a faithful steward to manage a small sum, now I will put you in charge of much, much more. Let's pause here for a second. How are you stewarding the things that God has entrusted to you on a smaller level? Because you know what? That's going to dictate what God can give you in your future. They may seem like little things, like do you pay your bills on time? How is your love walk with people? You know, how accountable are you with your God time? Those little things, you guys, make a huge difference in what God can deliver into your hands for the future. Let's keep going, okay? And then same thing happened with the one that managed 2,000 coins, so I'm going to hop down a little bit for time's sake, okay? Verse 24, then the one who had been entrusted with 1,000 gold coins came to his master and said, look, sir, I know you are a hard man to please, and you're a shrewd and ruthless businessman who grows rich on the backs of others. I was afraid of you, so I went and hid your money and buried it in the ground. But here it is, take it, it's yours. Angered by what he heard, the master said to him, you're an untrustworthy and lazy servant. If you knew I was a shrewd and ruthless businessman who always makes a profit, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? Then I would have received it all back with interest when I returned. But because you were unfaithful, I will take the 1,000 gold coins and give them to the one who has 10,000. This is the verse I want you guys to listen to really carefully. Verse 29, for the one who has will be given more until he overflows with abundance. And the one with hardly anything, even what little he has, will be taken from him. Now, when I first read this didn't make a lot of sense to my brain, to be completely honest with you guys. I was like, well, why don't we disperse it evenly? Why don't we disperse all the talents evenly? Why don't we just have certain people having certain things, and that would be what's fair, right? Not in kingdom eyes, you guys. Let me kind of explain this to you a little bit, okay? So in God's eyes, what happens is he sees a person who is, you know, powerfully going after the kingdom, powerfully helping people, powerfully doing all of this stuff. And then he sees a person who is gifted with just as much talent, just as much capability, who is doing absolutely nothing with it. which person is moving God's kingdom forward the most? The one who's active, the one who is using the gift, no matter how big, no matter how small, to forward God's kingdom. And so what God is saying is the resources are being poured out over here and it's getting stuff done. Meanwhile, I gave this person an opportunity and they're just sitting on it. They're not doing anything. So of course I'm going to give this person's portion that they had the chance to utilize to this other person over here that's actually using it, because there's more getting done for the kingdom, you guys. And so I don't know about you guys, but I don't want that to be the story of my life. I don't want to be that person who God said, here's 5,000 gold coins, here's, whatever talents he's given me in my life. And he said, you know what? You didn't use your stuff, Jill. You didn't use your talent, so I'm going to go give it to this person over here so that they can do it. I've even heard very famous people talk about this. They know that God called them to publish a book, and they didn't do it. And so then a few years later, they'll see the book with their exact title pop up on the bookshelf, and they'll go, oh my gosh, God, and God said you didn't use it. I called you to this. I asked you to do this. That could have been you, but you chose not to do this. You buried your talents, quote unquote, in the ground. You took what I gave you and you didn't do anything with it. You guys, I want to ask you a question today. What are you doing with the gifts and the talents and the capabilities that God has given into your hands? It doesn't matter if you don't have as much. It doesn't matter if you can't sing as good as a person next to you. It doesn't matter if you can't preach as good as the person next to you. It doesn't matter if you can't manage finances like the person next to you. What has God given you, and how are you multiplying that seed for the kingdom in your life? And some of you guys may go, well, I know I'm called to do this, but I don't know how. That's fine, you guys. What can you do right now? What has God already shown you the next step for? Rarely in my life has God said, I want you to do all of this, and showed me step by step by step every part of the way. What he has done a lot of the time is he'll show me the next step. He won't show me the big picture. He'll say, you know what? You need to do this next part of this process. And then only after I was obedient with that part would he give me the next step. Why? Because that's what grows our faith, you guys. And also it's what shows him, you guys, that we are willing to be obedient to whatever he shows us in the timing that he shows us. So maybe you guys are called to be a producer one day. Maybe you're called to manage a big financial corporation. Maybe you're called to, do something really fantastic for God with your hand, like mechanically or whatever, so many of you guys have such individual and beautiful talents, and you're going, well, I don't know how to get to this place. That's okay, you guys. Start with what God has given you, and then he will take responsibility for helping to multiply it when you're obedient with the little things that he's entrusted to you. Amen. So what are you doing with the gifts that God has given you? Hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.